What do I think of Star Wars The Last Jedi? Hey Luke, you thirsty? Alright, I'm actually filming you. So you ready for your big premiere?
Absolutely.
Very good.
Waiting 2 years to get this back.
Yeah, where's it been all this time?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a question for another time.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Oh, look at you. Very good, very good, very good. Warn you now, there will be spoilers. I'll just get my general feelings out of the way first, and then I'll go on to the spoiler bits. So I went with Chris Cassidy, and I'm got some last after podcasting. I feel very sorry for him because I actually ruined the film for him in a way because I was coughing all the way through. Damn this cold. But the film itself, first reaction. Well, I liked it. I suppose I liked it more than The Force Awakens the first time round, because when I watched Force Awakens, I don't know, I was kind of, did I like that? It was good, and yet bits took me out of the film. This one, it's good, but as Mr. Cox wrote in his review, it's a bit like The Dark Knight Rises. It's really, really long, and bits that weren't needed. I mean, to me, this felt like you're watching Star Wars Episode 8 and 9. It's like two films put together. So long, just when you think, oh God, it's finishing. Wait a minute, they've got to go to another planet yet. Oh, and it's weird to say that in a Star Wars film, we just end, will you? It's, and don't get me wrong, it's a good film, it's a good performance. I mean, Carrie Fisher, there's one bit where I was like, tearing up a bit. And obviously when I play her theme, it's just absolute shame. Oscar Isaac, this is Paul Dameron, he's absolutely great in the film. But then again, he's not used enough. If I've got a major quibble, and obviously the length of the film is the major quibble, I've got to say the subplot with Finn and Rose going off on this mission to go through hyperspace lanes. No, it's just not needed. It just goes on and on. It wouldn't be if they got to somewhere and found it and then got off the planet, it'd be great. But no, there's this silly chase, and I've got to agree with Coxie on this one. It is pretty Disney-fied. It reminded me actually of a plot of Star Wars Rebels, which kind of goes with that. I'll accept, but as a major film, it felt very much like a plot, rehashed from Star Wars Rebels. It just really stretched out. So overall, if I had to class it between Force Awakens Rogue One and this one, I'd say I'd class it as Last Jedi, Rogue One, Force Awakens. Because now Force Awakens has grown on me, it's a different beast, but at the time I came out, I didn't like that. This one, I'm kind of the same, but there's bits that I quite enjoyed. The same with Force Awakens really, but there's bits that sort of made sense with this one. It's just so long. So you'll get your money's worth, you're in there for a long, long time. But apparently for the Blu-ray there's going to be DVD scene, deleted scenes, and apparently there's loads of major sequences cut out. More! Overall though, definitely still worth seeing at the cinema, just bear in mind, you're in for a long ride. I give Star Wars The Last Jedi a 7 out of 10. Good, but very, very long. Now the spoilers. So, right from the off, big fight at the beginning. Paul Dameron trying to sort of delay the inevitable escape from the planet that they were on from the last film, from the Resistance, from the First Order, should I say. Which he does exceptionally well. Very, very funny scene when he's trying to get through to is it Admiral Hux? A very funny scene. So it's quite a good film, but then that seems really, really stretched out before we finally get to Rey and Luke. And I was never happy with the scene at the end of that film, of The Force Awakens. I was never happy with it when she just sort of stands there going. It pays off with this one. Really does. A really funny scene. But then it's Rey trying to get through to Luke, and Luke's being a curmudgeon old git who doesn't want to know. So he kind of blanks her for the first half of the film. And then she's doing a mind meld contact with Kylo Ren because he needs something to do. But then it's punctuated with this adventure Finn goes on with this Rose, where they've got to try and find somebody to sort of stop this beacon gunner so they can travel through hyperlanes without being spotted. Also, Paul Dameron is trying to sort of get the resistance out the way from the oncoming First Order, but because they're being constantly attacked. But, oh no, they're running out of petrol. All right, okay. And he's butting heads with Laura Dern, which is the best manoeuvres to do. What can we do? We're running out of fuel. Hey, just running out of ideas, let alone fuel. And that just seems really elongated. And that really sort of, it just bogs down the film. And he's sort of going back to Luke, who doesn't want to know Rey, and Finn, who doesn't know what he's doing. And it's just very long preamble. And then we introduce Benicio del Toro, and he's a mysterious guy with no name. Probably because they just thought him up that weekend, thinking, oh, we'll just stick him in it. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy, that'll be interesting. It really serves no purpose. It is very frustrating. But we've got returning faces, like obviously Snoke's got a bigger role in this, and Hux. And Phasma's back. What a complete waste of time she is. No point having her back. They should have just killed her off in the first one, but no, she's back. Not for long. Like I said, there's quite a few appearances. There's even an appearance of somebody from the original trilogy. I won't say who in this case. I don't want to spoil it too much for you, but suffice to say, it was spoiled actually on this morning. And actually didn't have to spoil it this morning. The actor or person turned up at the premiere, which was a bit of a giveaway. So, silly Disney for that. Laura Dern, who's in it, who plays Laura Dern, she sort of starts off as a twisted person, but then it's all turned round, and she seems to be the good guy at the end, giving them time for the resistance to get away, to go to another planet, to sit around and go, what do we do now? How do we get out of here? Oh, why did you go to that planet in the first place? Well, you know. It just seems, that last bit, I mean, the bit with the walkers, I thought this could be good, but there's echoes of like Empire Strikes Back in this film, but only some major echoes, and it's just in a sort of disconcerting order. I said it's not an awful film at all. It's not one of the worst ones at all. It's still better than the prequels, but you're getting a film from Disney, a Disney film, and it's going to have that sort of cloying bits that you'll just recognise. And it'll sell Pogue toys as well. Of course it will, because the Pogues are brilliant. Hopefully it'll sell that on Lego Millennium Falcons. So, a really good film, but young kids will be very, very bored. As was I, in places. But, don't have to take my word for it. Let's listen to what Chris says on the way back in the car.
Red lights. Well, yes. It's... I wish I could just sit here right now and say to you, right, this is the review. Here we go, breaking it down. But a little bit... I feel the same as I did when I came out Force Awakens. Rogue One, buzzing. I could have gone for a run. You know, some press-ups and gone straight back in and watched another sitting of it. But this one, I just felt like it was, you know, it started off good, and then I just felt it got a bit silly. It got a bit Disney. You know, the jokes are good, I like them, but then there's a part where I want it a bit serious, and the predictions, you know, were quite above on, but I just think that there could have been more of an element of a battle. It just seemed like they were creating this battle, going, don't mention the Death Star, don't mention the Death Star, don't mention the Death Star, and, you know, it was like, she's a bitch. You'll find out, I'm not going to spoil it, but she's a bitch. and then she kind of becomes a saviour. The Finn and Rose element, I felt like, you know, again, an interesting part, and it's like, oh no, we can't do that. It's just like, really? I could have just put a bit of a, you know, like some real strong elements to the film, but I felt it was wow. But don't get me wrong, there's some amazing bits in it, and I really did enjoy it a lot more than I did with Force Awakens. So it's not a feel of like disappointment, but I just felt, me personally, it was dragged out a little bit in parts.
Chris and Adam, right, hope to do some more reviews soon. What do you think of The Last Jedi? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it's the best one? Do let me know. I'm not going to say it's the worst film of all. Not at all. If you liked it, brilliant. I hope you go and watch it again and again and again. Don't forget, Merry Christmas and may the Force be with you.